Hi guys, welcome back to a brand new piercing horror stories reaction video. Hello. What is the tea? What is the Darjeeling? Hi everyone. Hello. How are we all doing today? I hope you're having a wonderful day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. Today, I am back for one of my favorite styles of videos to do, and that is piercing horror stories, where I react to your own piercing horror stories that you have sent in the last video. So, as always, please comment down below if you do have a piercing horror story. We can put tattoo stuff in there as well if you want. Piercing or tattoo horror stories, leave them down below and maybe you can be in the next video. And of course, if you have already left a story and I've not read it out, you are more than welcome to repost the same story in this comment section. Please hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification button, and reboot! Please hit the like button, subscribe, don't miss any videos that are coming out, notification bell, all that stuff. Tattoo update quickly. It's at the peeling stage. It kind of looks a bit weird at the moment because there's like bits of like peeling stuff coming off. It's a lot. It's moisturized, but anyway.
Let's not beat about the bush, eh?
And get on to these piercing horror stories. So this is from JD, and they have said, I got my right nipple pierced for the first piercing because it was easy to hide. Fair enough. Fast forward about a year or two later, a friend of mine was inspired by my nipple piercings to get both of his done. We were going to get it done professionally at a tattoo and piercing shop, and I was going to pay. Oh, what a lovely friend. The only problem is that it was Sunday, and all the shops where we could get it done were closed. So our young, stupid asses decided we could do it ourselves. Oh, recipe for disaster. Oh no, my fan just broke. No! R.I.P. to another look. No! Oh dear. Oh, Mary Magdalene. Never fear. A new rainbow fan is here. I have too many of these. We went to Walmart, bought the thickest sewing needle we could find, which was a big curved one, some cheap body jewelry, and some rubbing alcohol. So we went to a park and sat in his truck and took his shirt off. Ooh, and we sanitized his nipple and the needle with the rubbing alcohol. I then proceeded to try to push the needle through his nipple. After a while, a lot of screaming, cursing, and insisting that he was going to pass out, we gave up. An hour! You were doing it for an hour! It was nearly an hour of trying to push the needle in. It got about halfway in. Anyways, I took the needle out and he insisted after he healed that he was going to get them done professionally, but I don't think he ever did. I'm not surprised he's been traumatized. It's the fact that like you couldn't just wait like a day or like and if maybe we could have waited till next weekend or just like it just had to be done. Then it was like, no waiting. It has to be done now. Like you could just wait a day or two. Oh my God. I've never wanted a piercing that bad that I've done it myself with a sewing needle in a truck in a park. We're starting off strong with this one, aren't we? Jesus. The thing is, I always find it funny about doing these like home piercing stuff. It's like you said you're doing it for an hour. I'm like, how do people have like, first of all, the patience, but also like just the idea of being able to sit there for an hour trying to push a needle through. Like, surely it's not worth that pain. I would not be able to sit there for an hour while my friend tries to shove a thick sewing needle through my nipple. Oh, so Naz has said, oh, here's a story from me. I recently went to a studio to get a tattoo, and after it was done, I decided I wanted a septum piercing too. The piercer came from another piercing studio. He got ready and whatever, and he directly sprayed a numbing spray on my face, and he said, you might get a little high. Is this a piercing studio you went to, or is this like an opium den? Opium room. I was like, okay, just get it over with. This man then proceeded to get the clamps and squeezed on my septum so hard that we didn't even need a needle. He literally pierced the F out of my septum with clamps. I was bleeding like hell and said, don't worry, it happens. Just wipe it away. He put the needle in and then the jewelry at the point my clothes were covered in blood. I paid so much money for it. Never going to the studio again. You were pierced with clamps. With clamps. Clamps. You got pierced with... We've heard a lot. Never have I heard. Never have I ever. Oh, drink girls. Never have I ever heard of being pierced with clamps. I love that you said after they put the needle through and the jewelry. Why do you need the needle? Like you just taken out a huge chunk of your septum. Like it's dumb. I just spat everywhere. I was so triggered. It's dumb. I genuinely actually don't know what to say to this one. That's so unhinged. Give me strength. I really absolutely love your videos and humor. Every video has me creased up. Thank you, Jay. I'm 25 and I got 22 piercings and 29 tattoos. All my piercings were done by professionals with needles and in sterilized settings. My first tattoo, however, was done by a recommended tattoo artist. I was 18 years old and this guy actually eventually reported to the police. He kept trying to touch me up as he was doing my tattoo. This may have been 2014-15. Wow. Piercing horror story. In 2019, I went to my sister's to get her first piercing. She got her double helix and I got my conch. I went first because at this point I had 17 or 18 piercings and I was 23 years old at the time. It was my first time with this piercer, so I'd done my research. He proceeded to do my conch piercing, marked it up, but pierced way off the purple mark to the point the piercing was wonky. His exact words were, "Whoops, I missed the mark. I'll have to do it again." What a nonchalant kind of blasé whoopsie doodle, I've missed the mark, girl.
Get over it, I'm gonna do it again.
Immediately leave. To which I said, no, it's fine. Leave it as it is. After 24 hours, I took it out and let it heal. Then went back to my piercer 2 weeks later to get her to pierce it for me. I had taken photos of how badly he pierced it before I took it out so I could show my piercer. It turns out the guy my sister had gone to was in training and had never done conch piercings before. I get that people have to start somewhere. I get that people have to, like, you know, train and learn and stuff, but like, if you've never done the piercing before, surely, first of all, you should probably tell the client that you're new to them, but also, like, have you not practiced on, like, dummies before? Because I'm, why would, but also, like, a conch piercing, how do you miss the, it's not like a piercing where, like, bits of it, like, inside and hid, like an eyebrow piercing where you might do it slightly wonky or something, or like a bridge piercing when you have to kind of go under the skin. Like, a conch piercing, like, you just put the needle on the purple dot. Like, I don't get how can you get that wrong? I'm so confused. I don't get that one. That was confusing. How do you miss it? Little rat bug. Hi, Roly. Hello, little rat bug. I've loved piercing the body mod since I was relatively young, so when I was around 11, 12, my grandma took me to get my first low pierced. At the time, I didn't know there was no first in that sentence, I just put fur. I added a word that wasn't there, lol, dyslexia. At the time, I didn't know any better, but the main red flag about this place was that it was located in the back of a small nail salon, and the piercing only cost £5, including the jewellery. That's not a red flag, that's a red tarpaulin, that is a red gazebo, that is an entirely red big top tent like that. The person that did my piercing straight up admitted to me that she was only 17 and that she had never done a piercing before since she had just started working there. Out. No, I mean, you're very young, so I guess I can understand why you would have said no. She used a piercing cartridge like the ones you find on Amazon and didn't even bother to draw a guide of where she was piercing. This led to my piercing being incredibly unsymmetrical, and even worse that the studs she put in were so small. The actual studs weren't much thicker than the bar itself, and because the piercing was botched in the first place, my left ear ended up eating the whole stud until it could hardly be seen. I had to get it removed by a doctor and was even given something to help with the infection. Years later, it's healed up nicely and I have them both redone recently with no issues. Well, I'm glad you had it redone with no issues. That sounds horrible. I mean, to be fair, at least this person did tell you that this is brand new to them and never done it before. They've never done it before. But because you were so young, I guess it didn't really, as an adult, I think if you were to hear that, you'd be like, okay, bye sis. It's Christmas. The fact as well that your earlobe ate the bar as well and you had to get it cut up by a doctor and had an infection, everything. No. Almost makes me want to say, go to Claire's, just go to Claire's. Go to Claire's Accessories. Yeah, not the hair salon. Nah. I think the story you included about even healed piercings can have issues if you catch them and they get damaged in some way is a really important thing to make sure people are aware of. Something else that's important is changes in your body can also cause piercings that are healed to start having issues. When I was pregnant back in 2019, my rook piercing started beginning to reject, even though I'd had the piercing for around 10 years, at the time without having any issues with it before. I ended up having to take it out and had it redone when I was no longer pregnant and my hormones returned to normal. I'm having a similar situation now with this pregnancy. I got my conch pierced in December and I just found out I was pregnant again in mid-February. I might end up having to take this one out as well and have it redone when my hormones are back to normal levels again. Wow! I had no idea that could do that. I had no idea. Wow. I mean, hormones are insane. Like, hormones can do really effed up things to you, like, literally. But the fact that, like, it made your rook piercing reject, like, what? I had no idea that, like, that could happen. I need like a doctor. Is it please some kind of like medical person here? Tell me about what we've just read. Back in time when I was 18, I went to get my belly button pierced. In those days, the options were Claire's, a random hairdressers who did piercings, or the one piercing/tattoo studio in town. I went to the piercing studio and told the piercer what I wanted. The piercer was more interested in chatting to her group of friends sat in the reception area than me, only sniperly telling me that the belly button piercing scar badly and will grow up before thrusting a consent form at me. Wow. I was far too meek in my youth and just quietly signed the form and gave it back along with a cash payment. What does meek mean? I've never heard that word before. Meek. Hope it's not offensive. God. I was taken through to the piercing cubicle where the piercer prepped, but oddly left the door open to continue talking to her friends. No. I laid back and expected the piercer to put a clamp on and got the needle ready. She continued to talk to her friends over me and kept turning away to look at them while talking. The piercer then proceeded to stab me in the stomach with the needle whilst distracted. She pulled the needle out and went, "Oops, sorry, absolutely not." Then pierced my belly button with the same needle. I paid and scuttled out of the shop. So as to say, I didn't go there again. Somehow I still have the piercing to this day and it never grew out. Wow. That's so unprofessional. Like, wow. I mean, belly button piercings don't always grow out. It will to some people, some not. I had mine for 10 years before I took mine out. I took mine out just because I didn't want it anymore, but it didn't move. It didn't grow out at all. Like, it was absolutely fine. Some people's bodies hate surface piercings and some people's are okay with it. So it kind of depends on your own body. I mean, I kind of understand that. I don't know how long ago this was, so I'm assuming the way you've described it, this is probably a long time ago. And I think maybe as piercing studios were kind of just coming up, the people doing them probably weren't amazing. I went to a piercing studio to get my earlobe done years and years when I was literally a child, and they used a gun. And this is in the 90s. So I don't think piercing studios were very professional even back when they first started, to be honest. So thinking about this, actually, yeah, it kind of makes sense that people probably were like this back in the day, but this is unacceptable, totally unacceptable. Like, obviously, you'd never get away with this now. Flailing my arms around here, I just got a notification on my watch going, "You've done your move goal today." It's the fact that they like stabbed you in the stomach as well, and with that, oops. It's like the guy at the very beginning who was that,
Oh, I missed the mark. Oops, lol, got you again.
disgusting. Big Oxyloo, hello. Hi, Roly, love your videos. Thank you. Horror story for ya. So back in October 2020, I had been begging my father to let me get my nose pierced for months. And eventually, as a belated 17th birthday present, he said I could get it done. I went with my dad and my cousin, male 18 at the time, since we were basically best friends and he wanted to get a tattoo at the same day. Getting my piercing went smoothly and the piercer was amazing. Did my research beforehand and I was paranoid AF. Don't blame you. I did the same thing. But they did have to tell my cousin to shut up once he started videoing us and mocking me when my eyes began to water out of reflex and fear of the needle. Fast forward 4 months from then, my cousin and I were hanging out again and he was sitting beside me. He tends to forget his own strength quite a bit and we were starting to mess fighting, like a pair of teen morons. But then he got carried away and went to slap me in the face, slap my face, and he caught my nose ring on the way down. My gazebo's coming up, girls! It was a corkscrew stud, which he somehow managed to pull out of the tip of my nose. Ow! It started bleeding intensely from the piercing hole itself, so I ran to the bathroom to try to clear it up. When I noticed, he bent the bar. I spent about 15 minutes trying to stop the bleeding. Meanwhile, he just stayed in the kitchen on his phone. Once I painfully managed to get it back in, I marched up into the kitchen and yelled at him, to which he said it was my fault for not covering it. I mean, I'm not trying to insult your family, but your cousin sounds like an asshole. I tried desperately to heal it, but it never worked. I had to take it out. Now my nose is permanently swollen on the right side, and my nostril is rock hard to the touch. Though I've since got my left side done instead. Can't help but hold a bit of resentment for my cousin, though. I wouldn't talk to him again. Oh, it's your fault. You should have done this, not I should have controlled myself and not slapped you in the face. I'm not going to say it anymore. love it. Thanks for sharing a story. So this is from Jordan. Hi, Jordan. Love your videos. I love you too. Thank you. Please share this. I would love to see a reaction to my horror story.
I will.
This is my piercing horror story. Me and my friend chose to get an industrial piercing together at a piercing and tattoo shop. We've gone there before to get other piercings done, and we've also talked to the owner of the place, so we knew it was safe. Getting the piercing was fine. It was more the healing process afterwards. When I got home, my parents were very, very upset that I got it, so my parents chose to flick my ear at any opportunity they had, which had already irritated my ear enough. I'm not going to say anything. With my ear already being red and irritated on the day I got it, sadly, it got worse from there. I have other dogs at my house, but my dog is named Tucker, is a black Labrador Great Dane mix. God, he's got a big dog. So as you can tell, he's a very large dog. As I was getting ready for bed, I rolled myself onto the blanket, yet my dog was on the bed and he knows that he can't be up on the bed. As I see him jumping off, the next thing I know is that one of his paws are caught in the blanket. Oh no! After that, the next thing I know, this wonderful pulling pain on my new industrial bar. Trying to lean closer to him to make sure that he doesn't pull it out, I grabbed onto the blanket as I fall face first onto the floor. Sitting up, I was fine, feeling like an idiot because of how graceful I was. Oh! I don't know what that was about. My dog then looked at me in the face and I couldn't be mad with him. No, don't be mad with the fluffy. And the next day, my ear was swollen and bright red and hot to the touch. All I could do was clean it the best I could and make sure I didn't sleep on it. Even put a slight ice pack on it so that the swelling would go down. Somehow my industrial healed within 3 months. I've had it now for 2 years and I love it very much. Thank you, Roly, for reading. I hope you enjoyed. Wow! I am very surprised that healed. I'm very surprised that healed. Industrial piercings are notorious enough for not healing. They're horrifically difficult to heal. So the fact that you had so much trauma in the area and it still healed is wonderful. Like, that's wonderful. But I'm glad you weren't mad at the dog. And I know that it's painful, but the dog didn't mean to do it. It didn't know. You can never be mad on dogs or with at dogs.
The little fluffy just wanted love.
I want a dog so bad. There. I'm already a dog. I have a weirdly cute, gross piercing story. Now that was a sentence I never thought I'd ever read. Weird, cute, and gross, all in the same sentence. It was the 90s and I was in my 20s, so I got obligatory belly button piercing. So the actual piercing was done in a proper piercing studio and was really well done. No problems at all. The weekend after I had it done, I went to stay with some friends who got 2 new kittens. Oh no. I can understand where the cute comes into this now. They were so adorable, teeny little tortoiseshell maniacs called Rhubarb and Custard. That is adorable. I love rhubarb and custard lollies. Remember those rhubarb and custard lollies? Oh, delicious. Yummy. I was sleeping on a roll mat in the front room and the kittens had a little kitty bed by the fire. I woke up the next morning to discover that both kittens had got into my sleeping bag with me and were curled up into my belly button. That's very sweet.
Oh, little cuddle waddle.
At first, I thought it was cute, but I realized they were both vigorously licking around my belly button piercing and had probably been doing it so for some time. 48 hours later, I had the most disgusting infection, loads of swelling and really stinky pus. Oh! Stinky Winky, Dupe Swash, Lia, Bah, Teletubbies. I'd gone straight for a banana bar with the jewelry because 90s. I mean, I'm pretty sure like they still get done with curved barbells. Mine was done with a curved barbell. And the swelling was so bad, I had to go to the doctor and get it cut out and have 2 weeks course of strong antibiotics. I still have a scar. The kittens grew up to be gorgeous cats who lived long, happy lives. Oh yeah, because they won't be here anymore. Well, that's an ending to the story. Oh, poor little kitty witty, it's time to die. I got my first cartilage piercing done in June of last year, my conch. Around the time we were still wearing masks at work. The actual piercing went fine. Same piercing and tattoo shop I've been for many others. First few days of healing was fine, but as soon as I was back at work and removing my mask after my shift, I caught it on the bar used. Oh, it was quite a long one for swelling, I'm assuming. Yes, that would have been what it was. Taking it on and off and being outside and going inside, the elastic of the mask would rest on the side of the piercing, which would lead it to be very sore constantly. I assumed it would be fine and continued to clean it and followed the rules, but it only got worse. It began to be hot to the touch and seeping liquid. Never mind how sharp stabbing pain every so often, especially when taking off, putting on the mask. I would just take a few anti-inflammatories and hope for the best. Wow, that was a long word to read. It got to the point when one morning I got up, cleaned it, and felt a large bump on the back of my ear. With some awkward mirror handling and using my phone, I took a picture and saw a huge purple/red lump on the back of my ear, bleeding and seeping past. Oh no! Sounds like an infection or something. Oh no, but the constant knocking of a mask would do that. At least with the helix piercing, it's kind of out the way, but if you've got like a conch piercing like in the middle, the mask would literally be sitting on it. Yeah. I continued to clean it and make sure it was healing okay, trying not to touch the elastic of the mask onto the piercing. After the mask rule was removed, it was healing quickly, which I was so thankful for after dealing with this for close to 4 months. God, that's a long time. I'm so surprised that healed okay. The fact that it got to a stage where like a huge like blood pus blister was on the back of your piercing, you are so lucky that you managed to heal that. That is the one thing, like, at least now, because masks aren't mandatory anywhere really, at least in the UK, like, this kind of stuff can be avoided. Pussy wassy, time to bleed. Well guys, I'm well and truly aboard that Chariga train, choo choo, speeding down the railway, about to crash off a cliff and plunge to my death. Goodbye. I'm back. I made a full recovery.
It's a miracle.
Thank you so much for watching the video, guys. And thank you to everyone who has shared your stories today. This one's a lot. This one was a lot. The person piercing the septum with clamps and not even the needle unhinged. The cat licking the piercing and then dying. The parents flicking the ear. Nasty. The slapping in the face. Nasty. Oh, this one's been a lot. This one's been a lot. As always, please leave your own piercing horror stories down below in the comment section and maybe you can be into the next video. And like I said at the start, if you would like to put your own story again that you've already submitted but hasn't been put on the video, you're more than welcome to resubmit the same story. But as always, guys, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos that are coming up. Come follow me over on Twitch. And today's Twitch shout out goes to Scary Spork. What a wonderful name. Thank you for following me over on Twitch. If you would like to be in with the chance of being in the next Twitch shout out, follow me over on Twitch. It's Roly West. I stream 3 to 4 nights a week. We play lots of variety of games. So come over, come join the fun, come join the live streams, go. A massive shout out to my lovely Patreons whose names you can see on the side here. Thank you for being my Patreons. You guys are wonderful. And an extra special shout out to my top tier Patreons: Aurora666, Benjamin Baker, Bethard, Boostshot93, Brenna, Kaz.Thom, Shell Herman, Christina Kyle, Con Pemberton, Crafty Leaks, Deanna Nida, Heather McFarland, Aia, Joanna Cruz, Caitlin Wright, Kelly Bowser, Chloe Louise, Laura Alice, Nena Marie, Petra, Selenus, I think that's how you say your name. Welcome to the top tier peeps. Hello, Rachel the Sea Biscuit, Robin Scott, Sam Perfect, Savannah True10, Sierra Benny, and Steph Utech. Thank you for being my top tier Patreons. You guys are wonderful. And of course, if you would like to join the Patreon family, there's a link down below. Anyway, be fast, be gay, be everything you want to be, and don't let any bitch say that you can't be you, Isaac, because you are flawless, girl.